Okay, guys, just checking something there. But there's a point of discussion going on in wrestling right now. That point of discussion is Goldberg going to be all elite? We know that right now he is a free agent, and reports are going around that WWE is very much aware, very much aware of Bill basically being in discussions. Hold on for a sec. Being in discussions, as I just checked something. Yeah, being in discussions with AEW potentially to show up there, and that the targeting date for him to go all elite would be at All in London at Wembley Stadium. Now, the the obvious question people have out of all this is not only will Bill Goldberg become all elite, but is Tony Khan willing to pay that kind of money? Because we know that history has taught us that when you're bringing in certain talents, that even though they have a lot of name value behind them, and they bring a substantial fan base with them, you know, are you willing to put your company at a financial risk to just bring this person in and let them finish out the career with you? Because Bill has let it be known that he wants to do a four city mega tour or 4 city mega retirement tour. He wants to do that. But is AEW the place to let him, make that happen? Is AEW and Tony Khan mostly willing to shell out the money to bring Bill Goldberg in? And honestly, you know, I know they have a way of using the legends and all that, or the Hall of Famers and everything. Like let them compete once in a while here and there, so that they still can continue showing that they can they can do it, that they can still maneuver, that they could still you know um, kind of show that they still got it, as the fans would chant. So Bill is an interesting situation because even though he is a legend, even though he is a Hall of Famer, and a former multiple time world champion, you know, what role would Bill have in AEW? Would he be willing to go the route that a Sting and an Arn Anderson have gone and be a mentor, and be satisfied with competing when he can? Would he be willing to do that, or is he just wanting to go out there and compete and just be done with it and get paid for it? These are a lot of good questions to wonder about when it comes to Bill. You know, is he willing to play ball with AEW? And do things the way that AEW, mostly Tony Khan, would like them to be done when it comes to utilizing a legend like him, like they've done with Sting and Arn Anderson and Billy Gunn and all that. You know, is is Bill Goldberg willing to play ball and roll with that? Um, I don't know. I don't know. I know a lot of people are saying that if Tony Khan signs Bill Goldberg and pays him, like, say, a substantial amount, which is probably more than I think any legend's being paid right now, currently under AEW's roster, that it could financially, in the long run, hurt the company. It really could. So, will Bill Goldberg be all elite, before the year's over? Will he be all elite in time to debut at All in London, All in 2, if you will, at Wembley Stadium? I don't know. But all signs seem to be pointing in that direction. But we also have to look at another key factor, too. We also have to look at another key factor, too, if you will. And that is the fact that Warner Brothers Discovery, as everybody has pretty much talked about, JD from NY206 has talked about it. Just Alex has talked about it. Solomon has talked about it. Everybody has talked about this in one form or another. Warner Brothers Discovery is the ultimate decider when it comes to wanting AEW and Tony Khan to do certain things that they feel will garner them viewership numbers in the long run. Whether it's, theming an episode of Dynamite, Rampage, and potentially the new show Collision, after one of their shows like House of Dragons or one of the movies upcoming like Shazam or whatever, Blue Beetle, you name it. They basically are the ultimate deciders in what they want AEW to be presented as at certain times to help promote other things that are under the radar. Well, not under the radar, but mostly under the roof that they feel needs exposure and to an overall audience that will tune into wrestling in general. They want to use something like AEW to get that exposure. Is what I'm trying to say. I know I sound like I'm rambling. I do apologize. And it's also reported that AEW are the ones that want CM Punk back. They're the ones that want him back more so than some of the locker room. Because we know part of the locker room, probably a big part of the locker room, doesn't want him back. We know that the Elite has made it clear they do not want him back. Chris Jericho is willing to work with him, but may not be, buddy-buddy with him or anything like that to get some kind of main event program leading into All In. And that's fine. That's fine and everything. But if Warner Brothers Discovery is, going out on a limb and saying and telling Tony Khan, hey, we want you to do what you can to get CM Punk back, on AEW television, even if we have to let you center, one show on Saturday nights, around him, as the focal point. Warner Brothers Discovery, to me, when it comes to the Bill Goldberg thing, if Tony Khan, is willing to bring Bill Goldberg in, but say, Bill, I can only do this for you, Warner Brothers Discovery, because they know who Bill Goldberg is. He made a name for himself on their network. Let's not remember that. Or let's not forget that, I should say. Let's remember that. They know, looking back on their archives, that Bill Goldberg made a name for himself, in WCW when wrestling was last there. And they know the impact, if you will, coin a phrase, that Bill Goldberg has on this industry. They know it. They know the impact that the guy has. And, the viewership, the eyeballs he could bring in. So, in my honest opinion, I think if Tony Khan is willing to bring Bill in but not give him the price he's asking for, Warner Brothers Discovery, in my opinion, will force Tony Khan's hand. That's what I think. I think if Bill Goldberg is going to be All Elite this year and possibly debut at All In at Wembley Stadium, I believe honestly that Tony Khan will do what he can to get Goldberg in, but give him a price point that's more reasonable than anything, or at least maybe on par with what he's paying the likes of Sting, Billy Gunn, and Arn Anderson. Despite Bill Goldberg wanting more. And that's where I think Warner Brothers Discovery, they're going to step in. And they're going to tell Tony Khan, you pay the man what he wants, or else, they'll be held to pay, from us. Basically. Like, you pay this man what he wants, or they will be held to pay, on behalf of us. And what that could potentially mean could be anything. Could it mean that they'll pretty much disrupt AEW television that's on their networks? Could it mean that they're going to preempt Dynamite or Collision or Rampage because, we just felt like doing it? Or are they going to schedule certain sporting events or non-sporting events around that time and say, well, we're going to preempt you, all that till next week or 2 weeks from now? Would that be the punishment? I don't know. But I would not be surprised that if Warner Brothers Discovery are the ones that want CM Punk back the most, then I'm not going to put it past them to say, hey, you pay Bill Goldberg what he's asking for, or else you're going to hear from us. And I think, honestly, that might be what causes Bill Goldberg to be All Elite. And, I'm not saying they wouldn't recover from it, that I believe they would. but that could cause a financial detriment to the company for the time being. Like, in other words, they won't be able to maybe, rent out or book out, certain venues and everything like they used to, you know, or like they're accustomed to. Like, they want to book Arthur Ashe Stadium. That's great. But will they be able to, charge the price of admission like they used to in the past? Or are they going to have to up it to make up for what they're potentially losing by paying Bill Goldberg what he's asking for? We don't know. But I believe honestly that if Tony Khan isn't the one that's going to pay Bill Goldberg what he's asking for, should he go all elite this year? It's going to be Warner Brothers Discovery that forces Tony Khan's hand to reach into his pocket, pull out the money Bill's asking for, and give it to him. They're going to force Tony Khan's hand to reach into his pocket, whip out his checkbook, write down the amount that Bill wants, and give it to him. Because again, if they're wanting CM Punk back, I would not put it past them to say, pay Bill Goldberg what he wants. I would not put it past them. I would not. And like I said, I'm not saying that they wouldn't recover from it. I believe they would, but it'll take time. And I think as a result, the only way they'll recover from it financially is to upcharge prices on certain tickets, like for Grand Slam and Full Gear and all those shows that are upcoming and everything. They're gonna have to uptake the ticket sale or the ticket prices from what they normally are, and maybe even uptake the prices for AEW merchandise, from what it originally is right now. So, in closing, yeah. So in closing, I do expect. I'll say this. I do expect Bill to show up on AEW television in some capacity before the year's out. And if he is going to come in, on a pay per appearance, I've got a feeling he's going to get what he wants, price wise. He's going to get what he wants. And if it's not Tony Khan that gives it to him, it's going to be Warner Brothers Discovery that forces Tony Khan to give it to him. So I wouldn't be surprised by that. Because again, if they want CM Punk back, no matter how others feel about it, do you think they're gonna care how much it's gonna cost to sign Bill Goldberg, even for pay per appearances? 4 of them at least? No. All they care about is what viewership numbers he brings in and ratings. But that's all I can really say on it, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Comment below. Love to hear from each and every one of you on this. Do you think Bill's all elite before the year's out? And do you think he'll get what he wants? Let me know. Talk to y'all later.